Per usual, everything on this channel is for educational purposes only and is not intended as financial advice. Set up Sunday. Let's take a look at some charts and graphs, some scenarios, get it all out on the table here. Got a bunch of links up top, as you can see. I'll put all those in the description of this video. Give me a like, dislike, comment, or share this video with your neighbor. It's going to be a long quarter. It's going to be a long Q3, mainly because of the large BTC supply unlock we are seeing now. And it's fine to disagree with me on all this stuff. I'm just going to put it out there, right? We've got GOX, we've got Germany, we've got miners, we've got ETH. There could be more. There could be other stuff. There could be, I don't know, compromised 2014 wallets, right? Like, if we want to go like deep down the rabbit hole, sure. But what this all boils down to is for the next 90 days, not a fun time. And it was there in the technicals, at least mid-June, it was there in the technicals, in my eyes, not sooner than that. So you could ignore the supply stuff, and the technicals for me will always reign supreme. They are never wrong. It's just, do you interpret them correctly? Are you trading the system or not? The tough part about this current environment is it appears as though we have a price agnostic seller who doesn't care when they're selling or what they're selling. All they need to do is move some coin as fast as they can. This could be, and is likely, Germany or some OTC related counterparty, something to that effect, right? They still have about 42,000 BTC left. At the current rate, it could take 50 days, could take 100 days. It depends on how much they want to sell, but it looks like they don't care about the price. It looks like they don't care about crashing price. So they will probably be done sooner rather than later. And the thing about the GOX coins is I doubt it's going to be all 142K market sold on one day. Okay, that's like worst case scenario, not most probable, not the base case. So let's just put that aside. Okay, it's there. It's sitting in the room with us now, but it is not what is likely going to happen. Not all of those claims are going to be fulfilled. As in, there's going to be some coins that just don't get claimed, right? Based on what the GOX announcements have looked like, it's going to be done in about 90 days. Again, all this stuff is like nebulous. We don't really know for sure. Is the German wallet even this wallet? I don't know. Coins are coming in and out. Is this an OTC provider sending coins back when coins don't sell fast enough? Right? I have no idea. We're just sort of guessing here. But it appears as though that's what's going on. Are they trying to get ahead of GOX? I don't know. Do they not care? Again, I don't think they care. I think they just see this thing on their balance sheet and they're like, sell it, right? So we've got all this going on. That certainly takes precedence over technicals because we will easily crush levels if somebody's just coming in here selling, right? If they've got 42,000 BTC, they don't care, right? They don't care about your yearly pivot. They don't care about your 25% drawdown from all-time high. So until they are done, or at least half done, or done significantly, it's going to be an issue. So keep that in mind. GOX stuff hasn't started yet, I think. Maybe. I don't know, right? And all this stuff is sort of up in the air. Miners have been capitulating. We'll take a look at that. Hash ribbons are a good key in there. As far as the ETH unlock, again, you can disagree with me on this. I don't care. I'm expecting a large initial burst of ETH to come out of the ecosystem. And depending on the seller, similar to the GOX argument, if you're seeing prices collapse, are you more likely to buy or sell coins that you've held for years? Are you going to buy more? Are you going to sell? If you're realizing a 10,000% windfall that you thought never was going to come back, again, let's just assume all these are instantly market sold. Let's assume all this 42K BTC, whatever, right? This is a time thing and not really as much of a price thing because these are people who are just likely going to be selling regardless. Same thing with the ETH unlock. They don't care what the price is. They're going to sell. And I heard the same argument for GBTC. Why haven't they sold when it's fine now? They could be selling, blah, 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 hedges, blah, blah, blah. Okay, sure, right? But I'm telling you, that's going to be something to pay attention to. It took the GBTC unlock about a month to complete. So again, this pushes us into like August, September, Q4, right? Let's just say Q3 is not it. This is not the quarter like it wasn't in 2023. Save your efforts and energy for Q4. Now, as far as the technicals, the trend is clearly telling you and has been telling you since mid-June, I will die on this hill. I will defend myself on this hill. Up until mid-June, we looked reasonably okay. But when we start crushing below the daily cloud, below the 200-day moving average, below the weekly 20 moving average, below, pick the 1050 or the alligator, it doesn't matter, some low time frame cross. When we are below all of these things, we are clearly not bullish. This will not randomly bounce without you, okay? We're going to have crazy volatility to the downside when the ETFs are closed, when there's a holiday. Thus far, the ETF buyers have come in and actually bought a pretty significant amount. So do they do that on Monday? I don't know, right? All this is like, we're living through it. We got to see what happens. But I would not be long here or looking for longs here until a majority of the supply unlocks are cleared up or finished or done, or we know more of what's going on there. And that's going to take some time. Now we've got this other stuff I talked about a couple of videos ago for Q4, some macro stuff, some crypto specific stuff. I expect the tailwinds to be blowing mightily in Q4. That's not hopium or copium. That's just like, look, the timing aligns as such. I'll talk more about this stuff on Monday with liquidity, US interest rates, dollar weakening, regulatory risk potentially coming off the table, geopolitical risk clearing itself up a little bit. Right now we have a ton of uncertainty in the market because of this stuff, right? Who's selling when and why and when are they done, right? So most people are probably sitting on the sidelines just saying, okay, just let it happen, right? Till we have more clarity. And I think we're going to have that clarity in Q4. As far as wild cards that could randomly save us, right? We've got Sailor, we've got Michael Dell, we've got Tether. I think they're done buying for now. Some random central bank comes in, Bitfinex Chad doing the best he can to buy, holding the line. Not super helpful so far, but they are buying on the long side for sure. The ETFs may absorb the selling. Hopefully, we see more buying step in on the way down. Best case is we have significant buyers come to the table. Worst case is obviously they say, look, momentum is bearish on BTC, bullish on legacy, and they sell. We still don't have warehouses online. We're not really included in a lot of model portfolios. So the inflows haven't been stellar so far. Another wild card could be the GOX selling could be minimal. There could be hedges unwinding, right? You know, it could be butterflies and rainbows and oh, happy days. And, you know, all that is possible. But probably, you know, if I'm in a 5X long here, I'm not thinking, oh man, GOX is going to be neutral, right? That's probably not going to be the case. We also have FTX creditors getting a bunch of money back. I think it's like 16 billion in Q4. Maybe they buy crypto, maybe they leave forever. Who knows, right? But this is money into the ecosystem at the very least that would potentially buy something somewhere. And then this last thing is kind of the nuclear option. Let's say things are so bad we're headed for a recession, and that brings about some liquidity infusion that weakens the dollar, destroys purchasing power, increases inflation, whatever, right? All that bad stuff on the macro side that could be good for us. But in the moment, in the now, July is going to be a meager time. Before we go any further here, let me mention today's video sponsor, Kraken Pro. Kraken Pro is a complete overhaul of Kraken trading experience with a one-stop shop for advanced and professional traders. Kraken Pro enables efficient trading execution across multiple markets with a UI that allows for unique optimization tailored to your trading style. You can check out Kraken Pro with the link in the description of this video. Not investment advice. Crypto trading involves risk of loss. Cryptocurrency services are provided to U.S. and U.S. territory customers by Payward Ventures, Inc., PVI, DBA, Kraken. Kraken has a myriad of coins outside of the usual crypto-facing stuff. One example would be PaxG. You know, not everything is going to be correlated in this environment, but a lot of this stuff is going to be down significantly. Your altcoins will not be safe. Your meme coins will not be safe. Your alt layer 1 AI RWA coin isn't right. Nothing's going to be safe here. Everything will correlate with everything else. So just keep that in mind. There really isn't a safe place to hide out other than a stable coin or something that is not crypto, because everything is just going to be correlated in a bearish environment, and alts are going to be beta to BTC. So you should see Sol outperforming to the downside, ETH outperforming, Doge, right? All this stuff should be outperforming to the downside relative to BTC. The rest of these links just quickly, I'll go through them here. GOX, here's the data on that from Alex Thorn at Galaxy. German government wallets suspected wallets from Arkham. Hash ribbons I've talked about a lot. Continue to show distress in hash rate coming off the network. This is a 30-60 day hash rate cross. You can see post-halving in 2020, we also had a tumultuous hash rate journey in May and July. Price was obviously flatter, but that was preceded by COVID. So none of this stuff is going to be exactly the same, but it's going to rhyme a little bit. And you can see here, we're deep in the red at the moment. We can look at the miner wallets. This is from CryptoQuant. All miner reserves. This might look significant, but it's still 1.8 million in terms of BTC. And since the ETFs have launched, you can see that rate of change, that degree of selling from the miner reserves from 2022 to 2023 was much different than 2024, right? Which is where a bunch of unloading took place. Now, it would have been much better for the German government, as an example, to sell into strength versus sell when everybody else is selling and pull prices lower. But such is life. Nevertheless, the miner reserves may be flattening, right? It's hard to tell, but we're still trending down. We're not building up miner reserves like we were in 2021. We can look at net outflows. They appear to be on the decline, as in outflows look better than they have been from miners over the past few months, but they still are sitting on 1.8 million if they want to continue to offload that. The ETH holdings, 2.93 million ETH, 9 billion-ish in terms of USD. What percentage of that is going to come out? What is the fee going to be? What is the fee of the competition going to be? Is anybody going to care? Are there going to be any inflows at all? Are there going to be any inflows when everything is bearish, when these launch, right? I wouldn't expect any miracles here in the near term, It would take a lot of convincing to change my mind that the outlock or the unlock is not going to be bigger than the inflows in the near term. Looking at the BTC ETFs, over the past couple of weeks, we've mainly seen outflows, mainly saw outflows. We've gotten an inflow week last week, but in the early days of the GBTC unlock, it was about a month of aggressive offloading. Remember, this is Grayscale, who's got coins in there. This is FTX, who's got coins in there. This is Genesis. This is a bunch of creditors. Other than just people playing the ARB game, there are going to be people who want out, who couldn't otherwise do that because they would push the discount down, right? The ETF allows you to get out at par with the net asset value. So since March, the net inflows for BTC have been relatively small on a monthly basis. And that's not even discussing the basis trade. As far as model portfolios, this is what I mean. This is one example. This was the, I think it was the Canadian Fidelity all-in-one conservative ETF. We've seen a few of these from BlackRock as well. More is better, obviously, but model portfolios, that's where we want to live because that's a price agnostic buyer, right? Here's the FTX recovery amount, something between 14.5 and 16.25 billion. Tether wallet here, they haven't bought BTC, whereas they had been buying BTC. I thought I read a story that they decided to stop buying after April, but I imagine everybody has a price, right? If BTC goes back in the 40s, they may start to step in again. This is Saylor's wallet. He, I think, has 500 million cooking, waiting to buy BTC. He's likely, I'd imagine, to step in at some point here. He's still up pretty significantly from his DCA. This is the Bitfinex longer. They are likely longing this on some sort of leverage, low leverage, but it's a significant amount of BTC. This is not USD value. This is BTC. So we've gone from 48K to 58K. BTC, you can think of it as like open interest on Bitfinex in BTC terms since mid-June. So they are clearly buying the dip there. Funding rates are still decently positive, not quite negative. That'd be something else to watch for when we're talking about bearish exhaustion. What do we want to see? We want to see the entire market short. We want to see the entire market thinking, oh, this is an easy trade, right? I don't think we're quite there yet on funding, on open interest, across the crypto instruments, crypto exchanges. Open interest isn't rising, so that's probably a good thing, but open interest hasn't really budged since March. This is the Coinbase Bitfinex price differential, and this is probably a combination of OTC offloading on Coinbase and the BFX Chad buying on Bitfinex. I assume it's one person or a couple people. I don't know too many people who trade there anymore, so it can really only be a few people with that size moving money around like that. But prices are generally more bullish when there is a premium on Coinbase versus Bitfinex, and now the exact opposite, right? We're seeing a growing Coinbase discount and a growing Bitfinex premium. Okay, so this brings us to the technicals portion of the video. In mid-June, like I said, we closed below the cloud. The moment we close in the cloud, there was an opportunity to reach the other edge of the cloud. That's an edge-to-edge trade. Typically what you want to see there is a congruent TK cross, which we initially didn't have but got later on, and now we're through the cloud. So none of this is bullish. Nothing. Okay? Absolutely nothing. Doesn't mean we're going to zero. Doesn't mean we're going to 30K tomorrow. It just means expect lower lows to happen easier than higher highs. And I think price is at like 54 something already since I pulled this chart up a couple minutes ago. But in May 2023, we had a similar just downdraft into July. And what really picked us up was the BlackRock ETF application that came out of nowhere. We were kind of riding high on this BTFP program after SVB blew up. And then in Q3 onward, the liquidity largely came from the reverse repo. So we don't really have any of that stuff pending, right? We could have some sort of surprise that helps us out here. But it took a good long while to bounce July, right? We bounced and then died again, and then didn't actually do anything until November. So this may be just a very long and drawn out bearish exhaustion period where we could see some sort of falling wedge or some sort of variant of a falling wedge with a crazy wick. We have not seen capitulation yet. We saw a glimpse of that on July 4th. We looked good July 6th, and now not so good, right? We're starting to break down again. And this is what you'd expect if we are bearish. Down is easier than up. We're below the 200-day moving average, below the 20-week moving average. None of this is bullish. I don't think we're quite going to the 200-week, but it's there, okay? It's there. And again, you can see in Q4 2023, all these moving averages crossed like a convergence of the planets in Q4, and we got bullish. So we are so far away from that. Here's a version of this on lower time frames. It'd be the Williams alligator. Far below that. We've been below that since early June. So there's just no bullishness whatsoever. This is the 1050 cross, also bearish since June. Generally a pretty good look at what's going on with the markets. We're still below the 10-day moving average. That's how bearish we are. So we are very bearish here as somebody quickly tries to unload a lot of BTC. This is the M double top that hopefully everybody and their mother is paying attention to. This measures to sub 50. If a buyer doesn't step in and we have more sellers, we go lower, right? If a buyer steps in at 50 or 52 or 55 or tomorrow, then we don't go lower. It's just hard to predict where that's going to happen, because we could see this momentum push quickly stab to 47.7 or something, right? And then just bounce intraday. But this is very much not bullish, obviously. This is kind of what I'm expecting. Some sort of parabolic crescendo and then a short squeeze. But the problem with this is the seller is still out there. The seller is still selling. So until the seller is done or we have more buyers than sellers, it's just going to be hard to go up. It's just that simple. We can look at this on the 2-hour. We are so bearish. We are starting to get out of the bearish pitchfork again. And this is real because you look at the midline. This is me, convincing myself technicals are real. The midpoint of this pitchfork was held as support, then it held as resistance, then we broke out, then we went to the downside, right? And we have this parabolic puke to the downside here that looks to be hastening. I haven't really made a higher high, and we still have a considerable amount of selling to eat. If I'm looking for bullish things, what do you want to see? You want to see a falling wedge, you want to see parabolic puke, you want to see a bullish divergence. Maybe we get something like this, which would be a broadening wedge chart pattern. But this is so far away from concluding, just something in the very, very back burner. Then if we look at where we're at since halving, again, we're early as far as post-halving price appreciation. That's typical day 100 plus behavior. We're on day 78. If you look at performance since cycle low, we are right in the wheelhouse of where we were in the past 2 halvings. This is not abnormal and about where we were post-COVID at this time from the cycle low. And really all that matters is BTC, because if BTC finds a bottom, alts can do well, ETH can do well. Until BTC finds a bottom, it's going to be very ugly, very, very ugly. As far as legacy is concerned, DXY has been down quite a bit, which is great. Should be great for BTC. We haven't seen any massive relief there. There's a bullish TK cross here, but this thing has been ranging for so long. The trend's going to have trouble. The trend metrics are going to have trouble picking up what exactly is going on here. This is another wild card that was sort of baked into that list. If the DXY starts to depreciate significantly below 102, below whatever, right? Eventually we hit a point where everybody says, okay, time to step in and buy something else that isn't the dollar. You could argue, if you want to look for bearish things, you could say, well, this is a head and shoulders, potentially something to watch for there, just as we had a inverted head and shoulders here. So if we can break 104, maybe that would lead to some sort of relief rally, right? Even the euro is starting to look bullish, which I thought was next to impossible, but this is back above the cloud. Now this thing has also been ranging and is basically just the inverse DXY, but it's starting to look okay. Above 110, maybe things start to look better in BTC land. On ES, E-mini futures of the S&P, NASDAQ, E-mini, both of these are already to their low time frame cup and handle targets. This is another wild card on the downside to watch for. If legacy starts to pull back because it's pretty stretched. Now this could just keep going in perpetuity, but if it pulls back or stalls at, let's say, 5750 here or 21,000, whatever, you can't imagine Bitcoin isn't going to get pulled down with it, right? So that's also something to watch for. Now there's tons of other individual names that look much better or tradable than crypto right now. This is just one example, INTC. I don't really care about the fundamentals. I don't really care that it's failing, blah, 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 blah. I care that it's adjacent to some narrative that people are trading, okay? I like the chart pattern. I like that this has struggled for months. I would love to see this on BTC once we settle off. To me, it very much looks like a double bottom pattern. Maybe this morphs into a triple bottom. Maybe this gets an eventual Q4 edge to edge, whatever. But this looks very tradable to me, especially relative to crypto. Uber looks excellent to me. Bullish TK cross, price above cloud, bearish cloud, 72.75 is basically the level where it's go time. Is this related to some Tesla's crap? I don't care, right? Okay, the technicals look very good to me. Inverted head and shoulders breakout. So I'm in that one. This was one. You're welcome, by the way, anybody who traded this. I saw nobody talking about Tesla inverted head and shoulders but me. Okay, so I will pat myself on the back for that one. This thing has exploded, upside targets. I can't imagine this gets much farther than 270 in the near term. It's pretty stretched already. But a lot of this was short squeeze, technicals playing out. I don't think fundamentals are really pulling this to 270, okay? But this has played out quite nicely. There's Morgan Stanley. This is an inverted head and shoulders. Retested the neckline, has room to run. Pfizer looks great on the daily cloud. Again, this is something to watch for with BTC. Just months of chop, months of sideways. We are so far away from seeing this. It's hard to be bullish right now on BTC. This is a gold and silver miner. WPM also held the multi-year inverted head and shoulder neckline. Looks fine to me. Looks ready for more up. And then lastly, the miners have been kind of, the Bitcoin miners have been kind of an anomaly in that they look seemingly okay. MSTR, seemingly okay. Coin, seemingly okay. We'll see what they look like tomorrow. But that's also one place to hide if you have access to this stuff on the legacy side. This looks ready in a vacuum. This looks ready for a bullish breakout. I don't know if BTC price is going to drag this down. It might. It hasn't so far. Doesn't mean it won't, but just something to watch. So I'd sit tight and hold on. Expect more down. Expect a lot more down, potentially, especially in between ETF buyers stepping in. and just embrace the down, hope for chop, hope for bearish exhaustion. Whatever you do, don't get margin called on leverage. That's all I have for this one. Like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe, and happy trading.